it's that chance to embed a lot of different skills, and they're getting to have that customer interface, which develops communication skills, which then develops a lot of self-esteem. Then you've got like a really positive cycle.
G'day, I'm Debra Caldow. Welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future, a future where they're safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and I share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. This podcast is made possible by Red Giraffe Solutions, which is a project I'm proud to be part of, supporting families to build a better future for their children. We now have available at Red Giraffe Solutions an online course called Independent Cooking Made Easy. This is a new and unique approach we developed when we realised traditional cooking techniques and recipes were never going to enable our daughter to cook without some support or supervision. It's a safe, simple system that uses no more than 5 ingredients, has no weighing, cutting or chopping, and no lifting of heavy dishes. Each of the 16 recipes in the course includes a step-by-step video of our daughter making the meal, plus a visual recipe card. We developed this for our daughter to solve her challenges with cooking, and every recipe in the course she can and does genuinely cook for herself. You can find a link to the course in this episode's show notes. As a teacher in a previous life, I remember how important finding out about the different learning styles of students was, in order to know if they were auditory learners, those who like to listen, read-write learners, those who prefer to read information, or kinesthetic learners who learn best through doing things. Knowing which of these was preferred by a young person, and I should say some people can be a combination, always helped in terms of deciding the best way to support them to learn. From my own experience with my daughter, she is someone who learns by doing, which is why the supported internship program she went on was so effective for her. In this week's episode of the podcast, my guest is Carol Noble, the lead facilitator at the East Coast Café, which is part of the SAND project. And the focus is on building skills in a real-world work environment. Carol explains not only why this approach works so effectively, but we also hear about the behind-the-scenes running of the cafe and how that all works as well. So enough from me, let's find out more from Carol. Thank you, Carol, for talking to me today. Can we start off by you telling me a little bit about you and then also what you do here?
I've been a teacher in special needs since 1997 in various different capacities, but the latest one is the one that I'm enjoying the most, because previously when I was at Oak Grove College, we used to run a cafe one morning a week. And that's when I realised that's what I really want to do, because it's that chance to embed a lot of different skills through the vehicle of cafe work. And so when Kate offered me the position to work here and have my own cafe that could be open to the public, I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
When you say embed skills, what is it about cafes that make it a really good place for young people to develop lots of different skills?
I think it's because they're doing what they see as a real job. And they're getting to have that customer interface, which develops communication skills, which then develops a lot of self-esteem. And then you've got like a really positive cycle of things going on. You've got money skills, you've got being able to do budgeting, you've got the whole thing of weighing, and there's a whole lot of health and safety that goes into it. There's just so many things there that aren't just the customer service and the making food. There's a lot of life skills that are in there as well. We can easily build in things like laundry, because we have to do that every day, and the ironing skills. Actually, for a little while, we had some really good ironers, and we set up a bit of an ironing business, which was like a little offshoot, because, yeah, again, the trainees came up with that idea. There's lots of skills that the guys can bring to it and get from it.
So when you have a trainee arrive and they've not worked in the cafe before, what's the first roles that you would give them?
One of the great things about the cafe is that every day you need to follow a routine. So we've got our opening checks and our closing checks. And this just seems to ground the students very well because they'll be given like a repeated activity to do each time they're with us. And that repeated learning helps them develop their confidence quite quickly. And it's also really nice as a teacher to see that learning journey. You can see it really clearly. It's like someone who hasn't been able to empty the dishwasher, doesn't know where anything goes. By probably about week 4 is like doing it pretty independently, and that's great for their self-esteem because already they're doing something without any support. We do have prompts. I've got quite a lot of visual prompts around the kitchen. I find that also helps staff that are supporting. We all go, what's in the picture? Set it up. But these kind of things let the guys be able to do it on their own. And that is the great thing because they'll build that confidence and it'll just grow and grow.
Do you find that some of the trainees have preferred jobs?
Oh yeah. Nobody wants to clean the toilet. But actually I have some who are very good and they will do that job. Yeah, there's usually a bit of people like to do the money. The money is a popular one. Yeah, the ironing, again, you'll have some who really enjoy doing it and others it's a bit of a chore. But we do make sure that things get fairly distributed.
With the money, has the fact that we all now tend to not use cash, has that made things a lot easier?
We're a bit of an anomaly here in that we do actually still take cash. I just think it helps with a lot of counting skills, and actually where we're based we still do get quite a lot of customers who prefer to use cash. Yes, the whole using the card makes it a lot easier because the guys then don't have to work out change and stuff like that. But we still have a float and they still count that every day. And it's just hard to know which direction we're going to go in money-wise. Quite a few of our customers, they're really rooted in, no, we've got to keep cash. So I think it's still a skill at the moment to keep going.
When they come to you, what are the skills that they find more difficult?
But I think, particularly with the team I've got at the minute, it is actually the teamwork is quite a tricky one because quite a lot of the guys I've got at the minute do have communication issues. So they'll communicate quite well with the staff, but not with each other. That's a bit of a challenge at the minute. It's making sure that they're actually communicating with each other and working as a team. One of the things that can be difficult is getting the quality assurance. That's what I find I need to input on the most. It's like making sure that sandwich is cut down the middle. Sort of presentation, the kind of things I keep saying is the first bite is with the eye and stuff like that. And it's that quality assurance. It does feel like one of the biggest parts of my role is to make sure that the food is good quality food. It's when guys feel that they have got the skill, but then you need to try and take them to the next level. That's one of the trickiest bits.
Is that to do with not understanding work and the need to always produce the same thing each time, or is that just a training thing that you do over time and it's just about developing habits around work?
I think it's a bit of both, really. Quite a few of the guys at the minute, I've got a target set that they need to understand the difference between the employer and the employee. And it is my job to make sure that they're doing it to a really high standard. And they work really hard. They do work really hard. But yeah, taking it to that next level of understanding.
So in your role that you have as this manager of the cafe, how do you decide the menu? Has that got to do with the young people that you work with? Or is that to do with, it's a cafe and you have to have certain things?
We're called East Toast because the concept is that we do toast-based snacks. We have a bit of a sort of Subway kind of menu in that our customers get to choose what they want. We've also got an order form, so that makes it easier for the guys to be able to record. So they just have to circle stuff. They don't have to write stuff down. Yeah, so it's when it comes into the kitchen you go, okay, we haven't had that combo before. We get some interesting combos. Again, another thinking behind that is that allows the trainees to ask more questions, so they're communicating more. I've very carefully planned the menu in that it can be something where the young people are rehearsing snacks that they could make at home. We're building life and living skills in all the time. So we have simple things like scrambled eggs, we have tuna melt, we have bacon butties. That's one of my primary goals, is that it's something that's achievable for the young people. So they're rehearsing these skills all the time and I had an annual review for one of our young people recently whose mother was reporting that she can see how her daughter has come on at home, helping with things at home because of the skills that she's learning in the cafe. She's hanging out the clothes at home, she's making cups of tea at home. That's what we're after. And that young person does have quite significant support needs. And the only way she's going to learn this is by doing it practically. You could do worksheets till the sky comes down, and that's not going to progress that young person at all. There's just so much to embed in that practical learning. There's telling the time when they've got to come back from their breaks. One of our young people this year, she's had to learn how to travel to get here. So that's another offshoot of what's going on. Sometimes we're able to go out and do the shopping. So all the trainees have targets set to achieve over the time, and they're all individualised to the young person. Like for some people it will be that they need to speed up their work, for other people it will be that they need to communicate with their peers. One chap I've got that he needs to be able to come back from his breaks independently, so he's now setting a timer for himself. It's also having it so that tasks can be broken down so that all the students can be doing something achievable even when the cafe is busy. So if we get a big order in, say it's a couple of breakfasts, someone will be doing the bacon, someone will be doing the toast, someone will be doing the eggs. So it's all done so that it can be easily broken down into achievable jobs for the young people. My background is in teaching, and that's where I feel the strength is. Like, that's where I can break down all the jobs to make sure that it's achievable for all the young people. It's not a case of we just have people standing by and looking like they're doing something. All the trainees are actually valuably contributing. And then obviously in quieter times, when we've got some of our regular customers who I know they're not in a hurry, then that young person can do the whole of the order and get that practice in without the time pressure and all the rest of it. We've got that great balance going on.
But it's also adapting to the customer's needs, isn't it? Ultimately, it's a business and you have to run it.
Absolutely. And that's it. And the great thing that for me over the 2 years that we've been open is the customers who come in who haven't a clue what we're about. And they maybe do a bit of a double take, and then they just step into it and just realise that the capabilities of our young people, and they just go, this is brilliant. And they go away wanting to tell other people. I'm convinced that's how our business has built up over the last 2 years because of that word of mouth.
Do you think young people that you've got want to work in somewhere like a coffee shop or a cafe because they've seen other people doing it?
Yeah, it's very visible, isn't it? And that would be something that they've used a lot. Certainly any of the guys that I know through school, it's one of the things that we've done through travel training is we've gone out and used cafes. It's something that they're familiar with and can see the worth of, and so can quickly aspire to. There's a lot of jobs out there that we don't know. We see people sitting in offices and nobody knows what they do. But yeah, cafes, it's something that's very graspable and very visible for our young people.
You said at the very beginning that you worked in the school in the cafe and that was the bit you liked best.
Yes.
What was it about that? Was it because you could see outcomes better?
Yeah, absolutely. It's that repeated setup and then do and then pack down. Just having that repeated pattern each week, you could see the development over, they would usually do it for about 12 weeks at the school, and you could really see the progress. It's that whole practical learning. I think I've been doing it for so long now, I forget how different it is to sitting at a table and doing worksheets.
One of the key things I got from listening to Carol was this idea of embedding, and that learning practical skills doesn't need to be at the expense of learning things like literacy and numeracy. Another point I found interesting was this idea that young people wanted to work in the cafe because it's something they had first-hand experience of. That suggests to me at least that our young people need to be made more aware of the many options open to them when it comes to getting paid work. And in a way that leads on to next week's episode, where we learn about another of the businesses that have been set up as part of the SAND project, one which is a little bit less obvious, but has proved to be no less successful. My guest is Nikki, and she'll be talking about the Artisand Enterprise Shop and Business. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. If you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. To support the podcast, please consider finding out more about the Independent Cooking Made Easy online course. It's a safe, simple system that works. There are links to the course in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Debra Caldow. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of the topics we all care about. Bye for now.